Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be talking about cash flow forecasting and management and how to actually see ahead with your money instead of constantly reacting to a lot of chaos. So remember in Proverbs 27:23, it says, know well the condition of your flock and pay attention to your herds. In this terms, know the condition of your flock is all about your cash. Forecasting it isn't about perfection, but it is about stewardship and using that cash wisely. So we're going to walk through how one of my clients, a store owner, went from overwhelmed with everything that was going on in their business to actually being confident and learning how to use their cash wisely. And by the end, hopefully you'll see how to take control of your cash flow too. So let's dive in. My name is Jacob Curtis. I'm a CPA certified professional and your financial guide. My mission is pretty simple. That's to help business owners like you finally get paid, master cash flow, and run businesses that give you freedom. I started Curtis Accounting Solutions because most business owners don't need another spreadsheet or anything like that. What they really need is just a plan that actually works, even with inventory, seasonal sales, and some cash flow chaos. So if that's you, you're in the right place. Drop a comment below, hit that like button, share the video, and let's dive. Cash flow is different from profit. You can be profitable on paper and broke in reality if your money's tied up in inventory or you have maybe some late payments from your customers. A simple forecast actually gives you some peace of mind and clarity around your cash flow. It's like driving in the mountains at night without any headlights, without doing your forecasting, right? If you don't do that forecast, you're basically just driving without any headlights on at night. And that's like running your business without cash flow forecasting. And that's important to know. Forecasting really does help you manage your business wisely. So again, like I mentioned, I recently spoke with one of my clients. They're a new store owner. The store technically been around for about 13 years, but they just bought the store. And like many of you, they were excited, but a little bit overwhelmed when they first got in there, especially since they had young kids at home. They were operating in very little sleep and their financial systems just didn't make sense to them. And so they tried to connect QuickBooks and their POS system together. And suddenly they realized that there was lots of duplicates, especially on the revenue side, and they weren't sure how to fix it or what to do with it. And so the good news is that we jumped in there and using profit first and forecasting, we brought all that under control, cleaned up their books, and got things working the right way. And that first step was really just simply clearing away the noise. Double counting the income is like reading two thermometers. You're looking at two of them, panicking because they don't really match. You're not sure where they came from or what happened. So once we were able to actually disconnect bad integration and work from clean sales reports and got everything cleaned up, the owner could then finally see that real picture, right? That one step in any forecast, which was the reliable inputs, having clean, good, reliable inputs. Now, before we talk about growth, we talk about cutting waste. And in this case, the owner found that they had subscriptions that they hadn't used in months. And by running an expense on it, we typically can find anywhere between 5 and 10% of annual cash immediately in just expenses that are no longer needed. Think of it like pruning a tree. It feels like you're cutting back on things, but it actually makes the business healthier in the long run. Now, forecasting doesn't need to be super complicated. For the store, we just looked at 90 days ahead. We looked at their revenue trends, their rents, their payroll, major inventory things. We did a little bit of math and they saw that our shortfall is actually coming up in about 6 weeks. Because we saw that early, because we were able to project out and actually do the math and see it was coming, they were able to make some adjustments today that avoided that cash crunch in the future. And that's really what the powerful part of forecasting is it helps us to see and project what's going to come so we can avoid any potential dangers there. Now, one of the major cash traps is inventory. So for this owner, too much money was tied up in slow moving items. So we set up an inventory account inside the Profit First system and pulled an inventory turnover report to see what was actually selling fast versus what was just sitting on the shelf versus what items POS and inventory management said they had, but they didn't. So by planning these purchases around this and actually using an open to buy method, actually planning for demand and forecasting where they're at, they're able to keep more cash free for other needs, not investing too much in inventory. They're only buying inventory for what they're forecasting they're going to need based on some actual historical data and some good forecasting. Now, the owner also they're in Colorado, and so they faced a lot of tricky sales tax filing by jurisdiction. Got to do all of those homestead things, and that was a little overwhelming to them. But by forecasting out and setting aside a percentage of the taxes, a percentage of the sale for those taxes, they were able to breathe again and realize that they had the money set aside. They could file those knowing they had the money, and they weren't scrambling around every quarter, every month, every a year and trying to figure out where the tax stuff was going to come from. The same really applies to you. By pre-saving for taxes, whether it's sales taxes, income taxes, or what, It is a form of stewardship that actually protects your peace of mind. Forecasting isn't just math, it's actually good stewardship of your business. When you know what's coming, you can lead your business instead of reacting to it. And that's real good wisdom there. Knowing the condition of your flock or knowing the condition of your cash is important. This owner, the client of ours, went from panic and chaos to peace of mind and knowing exactly what was there. Because that forecasting revealed the truth and where they were headed, and it gave them some focus on where they needed to focus to make sure they grew their business and gave them a good plan moving forward. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or need assistance in managing your finances, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help you turn your inventory chaos into some predictable profits and experience some hopefully financial freedom. So schedule a call by scanning QR code or going to jacobcurtiscpa.com. And again, don't forget to follow me, Jacob Curtis, and Curtis Accounting Solutions on Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you later.